Let us pray. Most holy God, giver of life and peace, you are our creator and our sustainer, our light and our fortress. You are our wisdom and our strength. You have inspired many of our best and brightest to volunteer to proudly stand and defend our beloved country. You have granted us brave and loyal leaders who have steadfastly served our country in the military. We gather today to recognize and to remember these individuals, acknowledging that their service enables us to walk freely in this great land. In a world that sometimes seems so broken, we are incredibly thankful for their service and for the strength that you have given them. We are grateful for all who have served, whether in peacetime or periods of conflict. But today we especially remember those who continue to bear wounds of the body or the spirit as a result of what they endured. Please be with them and grant them comfort. We remember those whose lives have been lost in the line of duty. May they find peace, and may their loved ones find solace. And finally, we recognize those who continue to serve, even as we pray at this very moment. Those who are far from home and from the comforts that we know so well, especially with the fears and uncertainties of 2020. Defend them day by day with your heavenly grace. Strengthen them in their trials, give them courage to face the perils which beset them, and grant them a sense of your abiding presence wherever they may be. God, we ask that you help us never to forget the sacrifices that have been made, that are being made, and that will be made by these courageous members of the military. We pray that our veterans feel honored not only today, but each and every day of their lives.
Welcome, Woodward community, to this Veterans Day commemoration for the year 2020. This year has been unusual in many respects, and that also means that we have an unusual way of commemorating Veterans Day this year. Ordinarily, we would be gathered in the Gresham Chapel with the seniors with us to hear our speaker and then make our way to the Memorial Plaza for the laying of wreaths. But COVID requires that we put safety and health first, and therefore we are doing a virtual commemoration this year. I want to thank you for joining us for this time and trust that it will prove to be as meaningful as if we were in person. Veterans Day has long been an important occasion in the life of Woodward. As you are aware, our founding dates back to 1900 when we were Georgia Military Academy. In the first 65 years of our existence, our commitment was to preparing young men for service in the military. So Veterans Day takes a very special place of importance in our annual recognitions, and we give thanks for the many generations of veterans who have made sacrifices in our behalf to assure our freedoms. Among our living alumni and our employees, we have literally hundreds of veterans. And I want to express in behalf of the Woodward family, our gratitude to each of you for your service. I'm sorry we're not in person to ask you to stand and to give you a round of applause, but know how deeply heartfelt our gratitude is for your recognition. Among the hundreds of individuals who have served in the military, maybe even into the thousands, there are 117 since our founding in 1900 who have made the ultimate sacrifice for Woodward. The names of those 117 individuals are inscribed in the monuments that are in Memorial Plaza in the wars that they lost their lives. And we're grateful to each of them. And at some point in this occasion today, we will have the opportunity to be reminded of the names of those individuals. The very last of the 117 is Army First Lieutenant Tyler Brown. Tyler graduated from Woodward in 1996. He had a distinguished career as a student at Woodward. He was senior class president while he was here, and then went on from Woodward to Georgia Tech, where he distinguished himself at Georgia Tech as SGA president in the year 2000. He committed his life to service in the Army after graduation, and regrettably lost his life in Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2004. We are thankful that his family, the Carey Brown family, has seen fit to commemorate his legacy at Woodward in a number of ways. Through the Tyler Brown Student Center, that's a part of our athletic complex and a great place of gathering and social activity for our students. And also through the Tyler Brown Endowed Speech Series, which allows us to bring to campus, particularly for this Veterans Day occasion, a speaker of some renown that can inspire and remind us of the importance of this occasion. And so we are fortunate to have as our Tyler Brown speaker, Major General James Livingston, who had a very distinguished career as a U.S. Marine. He is a native of Georgia, graduated from Auburn University, and for 33 years served in the U.S. Marine Corps. He literally served in various posts around the world, many of them in the United States. And through his time in the Marine Corps, he accepted increasing levels of responsibility that got him to the title of Major General. He made the ultimate sacrifice in terms of those who live in armed conflict by receiving a number of awards, most importantly for our occasion, the Congressional Medal of Honor, which is the highest honor that any living veteran can receive. He received this honor for an armed conflict of which he was a part in May of 1968, when the unit for which he had command came under enemy attack. And during that attack, he experienced 3 separate occasions when he was wounded, the last time leaving him unable to walk. But he made certain that those under his command could get to the place where they needed to be to safety, and he refused to be evacuated until all of the casualties could be evacuated on that occasion. And so because of that remarkable heroism and leadership on his part, he received the Congressional Medal of Honor. So Major General James Livingston, we are grateful to you for your service to our country, for all you mean to the United States and the freedoms that we enjoy, and we gladly and proudly welcome you now to address us. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Major General Jim Livingston. I grew up in McRae, Georgia, so it's wonderful to talk to you. Just as a matter of note, I went to North Georgia College up in Dahlonega, Georgia, and I'm well aware of the exceptional school that all of you attend. And you're doing a great thing and getting yourself a great education, and that will make you a much better citizen and leader for this country. And I know the history of the school is produced some great leaders, and I know you will be one of those great leaders. So congratulations for what you're doing, girl. Congratulations to your staff, your teachers, and most of all, congratulations to your parents for having this sort of foresight to present you and provide the opportunity for you to attend this great school. If you look in the background, you may ask, what do the stars represent? Here you'll see 4,048 gold stars. Each one represents 100 American military deaths. That means that 40 more than ever, 4,500 soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and military personnel lost their lives or remained missing in action in World War II. I want to talk to you today about a very important day. That day is Veterans Day, which you are today having a ceremony to remember those who served and sacrificed. You know, there are various branches of the service, and each branch has a wonderful legacy. And the legacy of each one of those services stand the test of time and prove, most of all, that young people, every generation, care enough to serve and protect our nation against foreign adversaries. You may or may not know, but the names of 117 graduates of this academy who enlisted into the military and gave their lives adorn the memorial on these grounds, which alone illustrates the embodiment of patriotism and dedication to duty that is exhibited with our nation by our young people. Our country was created by men who had an idea, a belief that all people should be free. We were the property of the British kings who made life very difficult for us. But we were very lucky as a future country to have some of the smartest and bravest men in the world living at that time. They were lawyers, they were soldiers, farmers, philosophers, teachers, and business owners. But most of all, they wanted freedom. In 1776, they decided to break away from Great Britain. But that was dangerous business. To declare their independence, this would mean treason and being killed if they were caught. It was the greatest gamble in our nation's history. Win or die were the only two options. But our people, even during that period, were divided. And some wanted to stay with the king, but most wanted to become a free country. So we fought a major war that lasted 7 years, which we won in 1781. Just think about what all these patriots did for you and did for this country. Finally becoming an internationally recognized as an independent country in 1783. Then we fought another war against the British from 1812 to 1815, and again protected our freedom. We have since fought several wars to keep our country together. And the war with Mexico secured Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and California for our country. We were a growing country. From 1861 to 1865, we fought the worst war in our history, the Civil War. Amongst all those who fought on both sides, there were 640,000 killed, our lives lost. But at the end of the day, even though we paid this price, Americans realize, and all these citizens realize, that America was first, and we must come back together and make a stronger country. Then we fought a war against Spain, then 2 world wars, again winning. Then we fought a war in Korea and another war in Vietnam, which I was involved in 3 successive times, in 63 and 64, and 67 and 68, and 74 and 75. I was the operations officer for the evacuation of Saigon, and I saw us walk away from that war and not fulfill our commitment to people who wanted freedom. We let them down, but those in uniform did not let them down. The people in Washington let those great people down. And we see many of them in our country today, and they've made wonderful Americans. The reason I give you this information is simple. America and Americans have always been ready to fight for freedom. We have always been there to help others maintain or regain their freedom. Let me say, you look at all the people throughout the world. Think about the number of people who would not have their freedom today if we, as a country and as people, and you young Americans, were not willing to step forward. My life as part of that was serving as a Marine Corps officer, and I served for 34 years. Prepared to fight for my country. I took oath, and that oath said, all enemies, foreign and domestic. I served in Vietnam on 3 occasions, as I said previously, leading young men. These young men were not much older than you are today. I saw the greatness of these young men. I saw the greatness of our country. I saw these young men, both Marines and sailors, die serving their country. When we prepared to go into battle, we never thought about the differences in religion and color. We all thought about one another. We only thought about the fact also, again, we were Americans, and all of us were United States Marines. That was enough to give us the strength to accomplish what many thought would be impossible. On the day of that battle, I received the Medal of Honor. We had 800 Marines and sailors up against 10,000 North Vietnamese. These young Marines gave it all. But as Americans always do, these young Marines and sailors prevailed. Our country, by nature, we are good people. And history proves that through our actions. Today you see many things happening in our nation. And at the time you review this speech, we would have gone through an election. Some of these elections sometimes are confusing and contradictory. But at the end of the day, the thing that's important is, regardless of our politics, regardless of how you feel, at the end of the day, we are Americans. And I want all of you to remember, as we talk today, that's the most important thing that you can remember from my comments today. Remember that no one person is greater than this country, and I'm talking about presidents. Also remember the brave men and women who gambled their lives and fortunes and started our country. And I comment on the women who didn't serve in the military, but watched members of their family give it all and supported those who went into combat to save this nation. As you know, many of them lost their lives and lost their fortunes for sacrificing for our dream. Today, and if you have a chance to go up to Baltimore to Fort McHenry, the most important symbol we have is our flag. And the stars and stripes are known all over the world. Well over 1 million Americans have died serving and have been buried under that flag. The flag represents the best country in the world. And we are filled with the best people of the world. And that includes you. When I look at the flag, I think about the people who came before me, the people who gave me freedom. Today, I want you to think about the people who came before you and the people who will give you freedom. You are undertaking a big task in life, you must protect that freedom. It is in your hands. I remember the history that made the flag so famous and those who served and died. I hope you study and remember that history. When our military members and first responders die, their coffins are draped with that flag. It is a measure of respect and love, and I say love, that we show for those who have served this country and their families. You're all young, and as you grow older, I know that you may not know at this moment what you want to do with your life after graduation. I simply suggest this. You have a clear picture of what you want to do in the future. Be thoughtful, choose the right path, listen carefully to great people, pick out a great role model. But at the end of the day, remember the service and sacrifice. Be a great American. That is what I'm asking you to do. Go to those great people that you may know and ask for their advice. I would ask all of you too, if you get a chance, I want you to go back and reflect on the history of this country and also the history of the great school that you're attending and the great state of Georgia. Look at what's best in those people. What have they accomplished? I always ask again, remember those who came before you. Remember their legacy. Remember their sacrifice. Some of you may later choose to wear the cloth of this nation and be in the military. Remember that you have large shoes to fill. So do well in school, study and learn all you can about history, about this country, about sacrifice, about freedom. And just think of all those people around American embassies and on the border of this country who would give it all to take your place. Again, let me emphasize that. Hundreds of people would give it all to be in your shoes and day. The final key I would like to make is be introspection, which means looking inside yourself. Look at who you are. Try and always improve yourself in every way. And try to leave a good history and live a good life. Consider every action before you commit to action. And consider if that decision would make your family, spouse, children, and nation proud. Every action, always think about it. Am I proud of myself when I look in the mirror? Is my family proud of me? And most of all, when you're married, will your kids look at you as a role model? If you adhere to these benchmarks, then you will be a great American. You will continue to make this country great. And your legacy will be something that your family, future family members will be very proud of. Remember, we always must be vigilant. Ronald Reagan, who is a man I greatly admire, one of our greatest presidents, said this, and I quote, "Our democracy is only one generation away from extinction." Remember those words. If you don't do your job, this great country we call America could go away. You are the future. And with that comes great responsibility. I wish all of you well. I wish all of you to have a great day today as you remember those who have served and sacrificed, and that million or so Americans who have given their life. If you decide to serve in the military, it's a great responsibility. If you do not serve, it still is a great responsibility. American, and our future is in your hands. Take that very seriously. America is in your hands. All of you have a great day. God bless you, your family, your staff, and your teachers. And I always have fond memories of the great state of Georgia and your school. You may not know, I'm the only living recipient, the only Medal of Honor recipient that's living from the great state of Georgia. And I take that very seriously. I want you, likewise, to enjoy life, but take it very seriously. Again, God bless all of you, and I hope to see you soon. Happy Veterans Day.